I scaled one of my sales management clients to 100K per month with one commission-based sales team. And in this video, I'm going to showcase to you the 3 steps into how we were able to build a self-sufficient and lean sales team for my client's online business, and how exactly you as a business owner or as a sales manager watching this video right now are going to implement these 3 core principles of running a successful sales team and actually building one. How you as a manager are going to be able to incorporate that into your business, and show you how you as the business owner are going to be able to drive sales, as sales is the engine of the business. So the sooner you're able to dial in your sales process and your sales team, is the easier that injecting cash into your business will become. For those of you who don't know me, my name's David Nyamto, owner of Scale Your Sales. Okay, by the time of recording this video right now, I currently manage about 4 to 5 6-figure sales teams, okay, both in person and online. At Scale Your Sales, we train, manage and recruit high-performing sales teams for online and in-person businesses. And over the past 2 years, we've been able to generate over multi-7 figures for our clients. So when it comes to training sales teams or implementing sales teams into businesses, I know a thing or two. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. So here was my client at the beginning of us being able to work with each other. Okay, he was generating consistent revenue. Okay, he had a proven offer and a proven business. Okay, so he had proof of concept and he was able to make a lot of money with his business, okay, and with what he was coaching. Okay, however, he was on back-to-back sales calls every day. Okay, he had no team. Okay, so he was the one managing everything. Okay, he had no sales team management systems, no data tracking. He was the one booking and closing the appointments. Okay, he was the one booking and closing all of the deals, in charge of managing the CRM, and just in charge of not only dealing with the client acquisition side of things, but also dealing with the client fulfillment side of things. Okay, and all of this resulted in burnout. As a business owner, you need to understand that A, you're not Superman, but B, you really don't need to be Superman. Okay, there's so much talented representatives in the world, and there's so many talented people that you can employ into your business that will make your life a whole lot easier, rather than you having to manage every single thing for yourself. The number one way you grow as a business owner is by replacing yourself with A players. Okay, if you cannot teach anyone, if you cannot replicate anyone to do exactly what you do, or do exactly what you do even better, you have failed as a business owner, because that means you will continue to do that for the rest of your life. Okay, so at the beginning, okay, my client burnt out. He had no sales team. Okay, he had no idea really of how to build a sales team. Okay. And the 3 main things that we were able to come in and take care of for him when it comes down to, being able to scale to that 100K per month, was the hiring of the sales team, the training of the sales team, and the management of the sales team. Okay, those are the 3 most important core components of building a sales team. And I'm going to break down every single one of these things for you as a business owner right now, and how you can go about hiring, training, and even managing your sales team effectively. Okay, so let's go on to hiring. Okay, hiring is the most important part, because bad hires cost the business money. Making a bad hire to your business and rushing a decision of someone who you want to bring into your business, okay, although it may feel like the sensible thing to do in the beginning, because you just want to steamroll everything, over the long amount of time, if this person is not fit for the business, if this person is not aligned, they will cost you money and they will cost you time. Okay, the key to hiring A-star representatives into your business is hiring people that are aligned with the vision, are aligned with the brand. Okay, whenever you're looking at hiring people, you need to look more at what their goals are. Okay, the ideal situation of when you're hiring someone is their goals need to match the business goals, okay? Because if their goals match their business goals, it's so much easier to be able to motivate someone to be able to match or meet someone else's goal. So it's so much easier to be able to push someone and motivate them to be able to go to drive towards their goal, rather than to push or motivate someone to drive to your goals. Okay, so the key is having someone and hiring representatives, closers, setters that have the same goals and want to go into the same direction as the business. Because then all you really need to do is focus on pushing them to their goals. And if you're able to push them to their goals, guess what? You push yourself to your goals too. Okay. So the key is to hiring people aligned with the brand and aligned with a vision. Okay, and there's a few ways you can go about it. Okay, you can hire people directly or you can hire people indirectly. Okay, so finding talent directly will cost you money up front in regards to actually finding the talent. However, over the long time, because you're hiring proven representatives that have been received proven training, they know how to sell. Okay, it will save you time, money, and churn, which is much more important to you as a business owner and makes much more sense as a long-term, long-term play rather than trying to cheap out on talent. Okay, not spending anything, but then having to waste time with, missed opportunities that hire has made, or, missed time with, the time that you've wasted training them up, and overall, just a headache. Okay, so when you find talent directly, that just involves going to proven sales schools and proven recruitment firms, okay, and essentially helping them or having them install talent into your business. Okay, for my client, okay, we took care of the hiring for him and we did it completely directly. Okay, we implemented 3, killer sales representatives, 1 setter and 2 closers. Okay, these were people that have been proven. They had gone to, their own setting universities. Okay, they had received training. They had proven track records and they were all trained personally by me. Okay, so that was an example of direct. Okay, the client went to someone directly, found the talent and had that talent taking care of him, rather than being indirect and, posting stories, reaching out to people, or maybe even just reaching out to previous sales guys that, for instance, if you're looking for someone indirectly, reaching out to previous people that, you've worked with, and that have done a great job in your offer, because obviously A players work with A players, okay? But you've 2 methods. You've got direct and you've got indirect. When you're going direct, okay, what it looks like is basically building a relationship or, exchanging some money with, a firm or, a school that trains sales representatives, that's constantly training them in daily, okay, making sure that they're up to scratch, and then paying them for access to their hiring pool. Okay, and as a business owner, as you can imagine, the long-term, return on investment that you will have from that is because now not only will you never have to worry about finding representatives again, okay, but that these representatives are high quality. So the number one thing that as a business owner I'd always recommend is going direct, because if you want to be cheap, if you want to go indirect, if you want to scamp out on the type of representatives you are bringing into your business, it will just burn you in the long run. Okay, if you work lazy, you work twice. Okay, so that's when it comes down to direct and indirect. Okay, and the interview process as a business owner or as a sales manager when you're hiring your sales team is the chance to actually get a feel for the candidate and vet them out. Okay, in all of my interviews, I base it on hunger as well as past experience. Okay, if someone has got hunger and if someone has got past experience, or even if they don't have experience, if someone has just got hunger to want to learn or they want to become good, okay, that is what turns them into an A player. Okay, in business, you've got 3 types of players. You've got A players, you've got B players, and you've got C players. Okay, an A player is someone with high knowledge and high excitement. A B player is someone with high knowledge, low excitement. And a C player is someone with high excitement but low knowledge. I'd rather have a ton of C players on my team that have high excitement and they've got so much greed to want to learn, as I know that over the time, me and my managers and me and my team with my skills, we will be able to progress them into someone who smashes it inside the business, okay? So I always vet out the interview process based on hunger as well as past experience. And now, key disclaimer here, you'll never know until you know when it comes down to actually bringing on a sales rep into your business, okay? I've had interviews where, the candidate has been amazing on paper. I've been super excited about them. They've come into the business and they've left within their first week, or, they just haven't met the standard that I wanted them to. But then I've also had interviews, or I've also had reps that, have come in, they haven't looked the best on their interviews. I haven't been as excited for them, but, they've been able to make it past the final cut and they've come in and absolutely wowed me. I'm talking about they've wowed me, they smashed out of the park, and they've turned into an A player. So you'll never really know. Sometimes you just have to go over your gut, and that's the number one thing I recommend for you to do, is just go with your gut. That's the SOP. Okay, some interview questions that I like to use is, you can mix and match these for your business. What would your approach look like if you were doing XYZ? Okay, so if you're hiring for an appointment setting role, what would your approach look like if you were qualifying leads? Okay. What if you're hiring for a closer? What would your approach look like if you were handling this objection? Okay, seeing how their approach is, or seeing how they'd operate in certain situations, shows you what they need training on, what their strong suits are, and you can already start planning for when they come onto the business. Okay, what would you need for an employer to accept a position? Okay, this again, okay, it helps you see if they're aligned, okay, and if they have the same vision. If they're aligned and if they have the same vision, they'll say something that really sticks out to you here, and you're able to tell, all right, cool, is this someone I can see long-term growth of the business? And finally, say if you're hiring for an appointment setter, what would a couple messages that you'd send to our target audience look like? Okay, that's just an example of some questions that you can ask in the interview process. But the number one thing when it comes down to just the interview stage, okay, is you want to have, I guess, two forms of interviews. I say one, you want to have like a preliminary interview, okay, and the second, you want to have you want to have a final draft of like the 4 to 5 most exciting most exciting prospects. You want to have that with the business owner, or say if you're the business owner right now, you want to just have that with the team. Okay, and you and the team are able to make the best decision on who you think will be the best for the offer. Okay, and obviously there's tons of interview questions just depending on the offer. If you want, I've literally got a free sales team management guide. You can literally DM me and I'll send it to you. It's got all of my interview questions on there. Okay, but role plays and seeing how they operate in real time is always a number one way on how you're going to be able to tell if this representative is someone who will benefit your business long term or not. Okay, so that's all when it comes to hiring. Okay, you want to hire people aligned. Okay, you want to either go indirect or direct. Okay, and the number one thing is making sure in the interview process you're careful, you don't make a bad hire, you don't rush it, and you always go based on your gut. Okay. Now let's get into the training. Okay, you've got your representatives now. Okay, you've hired them, you've got your killers, you've got your studs. Okay, now it's time to ramp them up. Okay, and now my ramping process looks like, depending on the offer really, or depending on the role, it's a 7 to 14 day ramping / onboarding process. Okay, depending on the hire is what the 7 days will look like, or what the 14 days will look like. So if we're hiring an appointment setter for a business, okay, we're going to be diving deep with them in their, their first 7 to 14 days training. We're going to be diving deep into, the ICP. If you're managing a setter or if you're training a setter, you're going to be diving deep into your ICP and who they're going to be targeting. Okay, you're going to be going over previous conversations, okay, previous DMs and, previous conversations from your past appointment setter, okay, and showing them exactly how the business works, how the appointment setting process for your business works, and what you guys have seen success with in the past. Okay, you're going to be DM setting, role playing, and understanding the prospects psychologically. Okay, so this means that you're going to be literally having DM conversations, whether it's you, the manager, or you, the business owner. You're going to be, DM role playing in the DMs. You're going to be, cosplaying as a prospect, and you're basically going to be seeing how they'd go about booking them, and you're going to be able to critique them as well. Okay, so that's what, a 7 to 14 day process of setting a 7 to 14 day process of training a setter would look like. Okay, but when it comes down to, training a closer, that's going to look more like role play. Okay, so you're going to be role playing with each other, role playing the beginning of a call, role playing the pitch part of a call, role playing the frame, the report building of a call, role playing the objection handling of a call. Okay, role play is a key thing when it comes down to building and training teams of closers, because role play is, again, you're going to be able to see how they operate in real time, and it also allows them to get a feel before they jump into the actual field. Okay, you're going to be breaking down their sales calls. Okay, breaking down their sales calls, or not their sales calls because they wouldn't have any yet, but breaking down the role play sessions that you had with them, and also breaking down sales calls that you, the business owner, have previously had, that you've closed people, because that's the best way that they're going to be able to see someone getting closed in real time. You're going to be breaking down sales calls. Okay, breaking them down, seeing what went well. Okay, walking them through your thought process, what you did here, how you explain this, as this is going to allow them to see what you're doing in real time. Okay, you're going to be going over sales techniques. Okay, so different sales techniques, different ways of, building impulse in clients. Okay, or building up a problem. Okay, or, really allowing your prospects to get emotional and, different things of, rapport building. This is what you're going to be going over when you're going over sales techniques. You're going to be going over things like objection handling. Okay, how do you handle this objection? What are the main, 4 objections that, the closer before, or you as a business owner, that you see with your main ICP? Okay, because if you're able to identify what the archetype you're dealing with, and what the main objections that they come up with. You're prepared and you're battle tested for any objection that comes because you know what's coming up. Okay. You're going to be, understanding the prospects, the triggers, the buying signs and the non-buying signs, okay? And just overall really getting solid and, really getting a good understanding of how, you can take a prospect from A to B on a sales call and collect that cash, okay? So that's what, if you were a manager, that's what you'd be going over in your 7 to 14 day ramping process with a closer. Okay, if we're talking about an SDR, you'd be going over tonality. Okay, so you'd be going over tonality, the importance of using their voice, how they can use their voice, using uptones, using downtones, okay, how they can maintain the frame of a conversation, how they can be the one, being in control of a conversation. Be going over things like frameworks, okay, things like role plays, okay, understanding their role as an SDR, okay, so making sure that they understand their core purpose and how being an SDR works, getting past gatekeepers, and overall just real resilience training. As being an SDR, okay, is one of those things where it's probably one of the hardest roles, especially if you're doing cold calling, because, SDR, direct sales, it's not easy and it's not for the weak, okay, you're facing rejection, okay, so if you can build them up, and facing resilience, if you can set the frame, if you can set the expectation with the setters, with the SDRs, and let them know that, listen, this is going to be tough, however the long-term progression and the long-term growth you're going to be able to see through doing this is insane, okay, you'll be able to, I guess, preempt that before so that they have no surprises when they come into the offer. No matter which role, the setters or the closers, they must first understand the business and what the business's main functions are, okay? Daily calls, daily resources on sales, okay, daily training, communicating with them on WhatsApp in their first 7 to 14 days, making sure they feel comfortable with the offer, confident with what they're selling, okay? Get them to even shadow your top performers in the business, okay, or other top performers online if you don't have top performers in the business. If there's no one else for them to shadow in the business, that, other setters or other closers that have been in the business for a long amount of time, okay, just get them to shadow you. Get them to shadow you because you as the business owner should be pretty confident with, both setting for your business, closing for your business, etc. But this is exactly why you need managers, because the amount of time you're going to be spending with, having them, first of all, managing them on all of these things, okay, or, having them shadow you, okay, these are things that, this is time, valuable time that you can be spending on actually driving the business, okay. So that is all when it comes down to training. Training is the most important part. You have to get it right and you cannot rush it. This is why you need a manager. You need someone who's proven in sales to be taking care of all of this for you. And when it comes down to the training process of the things, you cannot rush it. Okay, you cannot rush it. You need to take your time and you need to do this properly. Okay, this is why my client was able to scale to 100K plus per month with us managing his sales team, because he didn't have to worry about the training. He didn't have to worry about the hiring. All he had to worry about, okay, because he knew he had someone proven in sales, someone who knew what he was doing, and someone with the capability to take that weight off of his shoulders while he can focus on the marketing and do what he needed to do to push the business forward. Okay, this is why he was able to scale to 100K plus per month with our help, because he had all the time in the world. Okay, he didn't have to worry about the hiring. He didn't have to worry about with the training. Okay, all he had to do is worry about pushing the business forward. And this is why you, as a business owner right now, if you're the person who was you're still either founder-led sales, you're still the person managing your sales team, you need to automate that as soon as possible. Otherwise, it will cost you and your business's growth. Okay, so we've got the hiring, we've got the training. Okay, now let's get into the management side of the things. Let's get into actually managing the team, okay, and making sure that we do this properly too. Okay, management, okay, team culture and team morale when it comes down to managing a sales team and making sure that you develop your team every single day or every single week is the most important most important aspect here. Okay, because if this is not taken care of, your team will turn into a churn factory. Okay, the reason most sales representatives leave is due to not seeing the vision, okay, going through the motions and feeling like they're just developing someone else's dreams and someone else's ideas rather than their own. Okay, and this is why it brings back to what I said here. The key is to hiring people aligned with the vision and aligned with the brand so they don't feel this way. They don't feel this way. They feel like they feel like they're doing something that aligns to their purpose as well. They feel like they're growing themselves and they're ticking off, goals and I guess, dreams, and they're heading in the direction that they're comfortable with going. Okay. So the most reason, reps leave will be to just not seeing the vision and, feeling like they're developing someone else's dreams. Okay. And the way you're really going to be able to stop this is by daily and weekly team meetings. Okay. Morning meetings especially are super key to not only setting the agenda of your sales team, building winning habits, but also driving sales. Okay. I'm not sure if you're a business owner right now, if you've ever worked in sales, or if you've just ever been in a team environment. Okay. There's nothing better than a morning team meeting. Okay. With the boss is super pumped. They're super excited because that mirrors off to you. Okay, you get excited, you get pumped to go up there, start booking calls, start closing deals, or whatever it is that your function of the business was. Okay, that is what applies to when you're managing a sales team as well. Morning meetings are super key to teaching them lessons, okay, getting them excited, because if you're able to get them excited, they're going to go into the field or go into their sales day enjoying and excited, okay, and hungry to bring back results, okay. Things like incentives, okay, incentivizing hard work, hard results, okay, little things like, okay, boost, whoever books the most calls today, I pay for their dinner, or, whoever gets the free calls first, every single call that they book after, they get double commission off of it. Okay, just little things like that to really incentivize them to absolutely want to go out there and absolutely smash it. Okay, incentivizing hard work and incentivizing results. Things like prizes, dinners, trips, etc. These are all things that is going to make managing a team so much more, fulfilling for you, but also for them, as the morale will be high, the culture will be high, and you'll be developing them every single day. Okay. Checking in on the reps and making sure that they're all set with their personal life too. Okay. Making sure that it's not just a business relationship. Obviously you want to keep it strictly business, but making sure that you can understand your representatives on a more interpersonal level, as this is going to be able to tell you what makes your reps tick. Okay. If you can understand what makes your reps tick, okay, what excites them, how they are, what their type of personality types are, it's just going to make the managing process so much easier. Okay, building that relationship as their boss, that's there to help. Okay, that's how you drive performance and results. Okay, when it comes down to data tracking, okay, when you're managing a team, data is the most important aspect. And to be honest, I should have a whole video just on, the type of data you need to track as a business owner, okay, or as a sales team manager. Okay, but key metrics you need to look at are end of day reports. Okay, so end of day reports of their activities. Okay, how long were they in the account? What time did they check in? What time did they check out? How many conversations did they have? How many intros did they send? How many, pitches? Okay. How many people did they pitch? How many people did they, offer your services to? Okay. How many booked calls? Okay. How many deals did they close? Okay. What was the close rate? Okay. Sorry. What was the amount of closed deals, in a day or in a week? Okay. What were the close rates? Okay. What were the show rates? These are things you need to track daily and weekly. And as a manager, you can review these at the end of every single week. You can review the numbers, see what needs to be optimized, see, okay, how, you can have meetings on, how you can optimize these with a team. And, every single meeting, you can literally choose something that you want to work on, choose something that you want to optimize. And this is how you're going to manage the team and going to make sure that you're constantly developing them. If they feel like they're going to have the best opportunity of learning under you and that they've got the most opportunity for growth under you and under your business, they are going to be driven and they are going to be motivated to work hard because they feel like you're going to be the person for the job. Okay. And that's really it when it comes to management. Management is definitely something that, it just comes with time. Okay, the first people you manage are probably going to be terrible. Okay, you're probably going to learn so much mistakes. You're probably going to learn so much lessons. But the number one thing is just continuing to make sure that you do it as, it's like fine wine or it's like a skill. The more you do it, is the better you become at it. Okay, and after you've taken care of the management, after you've taken care of the training, and after you've taken care of the hiring, okay, you should have the foundations for 100K per month sales team. Okay, that's going to, make sure that you as a business owner doesn't burn out. It's going to make sure they generate you revenue almost passively, okay, while you can literally disappear for a week and make sure that you've got a sales team generating you revenue, collecting you cash, booking your appointments, closing your deals, and you're going to actually feel like a CEO rather than being burnt out and feeling burnt out like countless of the clients that, I work with start feeling like before we're able to build out their sales team. Okay. If you focus on these three okay, systems and you do them well, you will not have a problem of building a high performing sales team. If you're a business owner, if you're a setter manager and you're watching this video right now, okay, and you now understand exactly, all right, cool, this is what I need to do when it comes to the hiring and, you know, back and forth. However, you definitely feel like you could do from having this whole system taken care of for you, building you your own automated sales team that's lean and hits results. Okay, DM me on Instagram, or, you know, just subscribe to this account, as I've got tons of content on building successful sales teams and just sales in general. Okay, if you're a founder right now, okay, and, you know, you want to get out of founder-led sales, I've literally got my calendar link in the bottom right now. Okay, book a call. Me and my team will audit your business. Okay, we'll see what you need to do when it comes down to hiring, training, and managing your sales team and driving results. Okay, and we'll be able to give you the full step-by-step plan and also give you clarity on how you're going to be able to build a successful team for your business, as sales is the engine of all businesses. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll catch you in the next one.